Hello, and welcome to A Place to Call Home. I'm Portia Evans, and so apropos for our show today, we have a wonderful, wonderful group of volunteers who have come into our area to volunteer in the aftermath of the August floods that happened here in our area, Southwest Louisiana. The groups today are from the United Methodist Church, and two groups we want to salute and give our kudos to. One from the First United Methodist Church of Winsboro, Louisiana, and from the Liberty United Methodist Church from Brentwood, Tennessee. My seated guests with me today, I'd like to let you introduce yourselves and say good afternoon and thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Tomas Starr, and I'm from Brentwood, Tennessee. So I go to Liberty United Methodist.
Good afternoon. I'm Paula Smith, and I'm the pastor at Liberty United Methodist Church.
And this is a wonderful youth group. We'd like to start with you, young man. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is KJ, and I live in Houston, Texas.
I'm Charlene, and I live in Brentwood, Tennessee.
I'm Tank, and I live in Brentwood, Tennessee.
I'm Sean, and I also live in Brentwood, Tennessee.
I'm Tremaine, and I live in Lafayette.
I'm Kevin, and I live in Brentwood, Tennessee.
And again, thank you so much for what you've come into the area to do. All week long, we've been inundated with volunteers from all over the country. Last night, somebody gave me the numbers, and that was like about 2,200 people who have descended upon the area to lend their helping hand, and that's what I love about it. People helping people. But Ms. Paula, all of this started, you told me, from kind of like a Bible study, and I want to know just what made you want to take on this task.
Thank you. When we become members of the church, we commit to and offer ourselves to God, our prayers, our presence, our witness, our gifts, and our service. And so service is the aspect that we're focusing on during this time. The theme that we came up with when we partnered with Winsboro United Methodist Church was entitled Reset. And it's such a wonderful idea to think that God allows U-turns. God allows us the opportunity and the Holy Spirit brings it to us repeatedly, opportunities to be the hands and feet of God to the world. So we see our time here as actual representing Christ by being his hands, his feet, his mouthpiece, and offering hope to those who have experienced tragedy, to let them know that indeed God hears and answers prayers.
And the Word of God said, I sent man to serve.
Amen.
And so you started out on this mission, and I understand that Reset
Yes.
was the first area.
Yes, and so it's sort of a system reset. And so each day we had a different focus with biblical, using the Bible and different scriptures as our guiding scriptures. So we had reset on Monday, repurpose on Tuesday, rethink on Wednesday, and today our whole theme was redesign.
And unfortunately, there was a lot of wet weather during the week for you. So
Yes, there was.
I know sometimes that was hard, but did you get out and work anyway, anyhow, in some of the rain?
Well, absolutely. I remember the first day that we went, we were suspecting that there was going to be rain at about 11 o'clock. So we got most of it done. And even when it started raining, we were still working on it. A lot of the stuff that we did ended up being painting. And you generally try not to paint in the rain, but we did a lot of construction out in the rain as well. So that was really good for us to get to do.
All right, so let's go around the room and find out some of the projects you did, some of the most interesting things that you did, some of the hardest jobs that you were faced with all week long.
So we usually did five projects, which was scraping, sanding, painting, building a bench, and building a picnic table.
Wonderful.
Well, and Portia, I thought one of the greatest things that we were able to do was to really put the kids to work, and to have them do projects that they could really be successful on, and be able to feel productive right away. We did some work at the Smile Foundation, and so we were able to have them help with making the playground safer, and then putting together picnic tables. We had a couple gentlemen with us that were very handy, and so that was great to see them mentoring the younger children and passing along their skills.
And you said the word work.
Yes, yes. I think they put in a good day's work each day, so that was
That
was
is
good
so
also.
wonderful, and it is just so rewarding to see young people to take on tasks like this. You know, because they could be doing anything else. It's summertime, school's out. You know, you don't see many of you, so I salute each and every one of you. So next, what kind of task for you was daunting, challenging? What?
We actually put together a fence at your house. We were digging holes and it was wet outside and the holes kept filling up and we had to scoop them out, and it was just challenging to get it under control, but at the end we fixed it.
Well, I certainly thank you. Young man?
I think the hardest one for me was when we had to get to the top of the house to paint the very top of it. We had to extend the ladder all the way and tape a roller to a stick.
Oh my,
And, but eventually we got it. So
that's great.
The hardest part for me was painting without dripping the paint onto the rest of the house and messing stuff up like that.
Well, that's wonderful. Did a lot of work at my house, and I know a lot of people know already. During that August rain and flood, I was in a boat for 16 days, in and out in a boat. So we had much water back there. But not just me, many people in our area, and you know we are. You know, we were just diligent, and we just tried to stay focused and tried to say if we fell down, we knew that God would allow us to get back up again. And with the help of many organizations like yours, if you're just joining us, our guests are from the Liberty United Methodist Church of Brentwood, Tennessee, and the First United Methodist Church of Winsboro, Louisiana, volunteers who have come into our area and have come to work. Now, Tomas Starr has been with this wonderful youth group at his church for a long time. And tell me, you know, how old you were when you started wanting to be a part of a group like this?
Well, I started out when I was 12 years old with my first mission trip. And I guess that's how I really got exposed to this program. I was 12 years old, my other brother was about 17, and so he and I actually came to this church, Liberty United Methodist, and we went on a mission trip called SLAM. And with SLAM, we did a lot of work in an area where a lot of refugees were staying while they looked for jobs in America. And it was only about 15 minutes from where we lived. But we provided a day camp for all of the kids, and it was just really interesting just to get to know them and get to learn their lives, and just to get to help them.
How rewarding is it, young man, to help somebody, to be of service?
I think it's probably one of the most rewarding things a person can have, because there are so many things that one can do for themselves that is rewarding, such as doing a paint job very nicely. But once you truly get into working, and I think that once you truly help someone else and make their lives better, I think that's probably one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had.
You see, folk, you know, you don't see the good side of kids all the time. You know, they don't expose the good side. But we are here to salute these young people and tell them what a wonderful job that you have done. And I know that these moments in time will follow you all the days of your life. So keep on doing what you are doing. Miss Paula, I know that you're involved with these kids, and Miss Charlene, you brought your own.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me why you did that, why you chose to do that.
Well, I thought it was important for them to be able to have the opportunity to serve, and especially to serve people right here in America that really need our help. And I got the opportunity to do some of these trips when I was a child, and it really made a lasting impact on me. And so it was also kind of a fun way for me to take a break from work and and be able to be with my kids, and as opposed to having a vacation, I guess I'm not sure what you call this. It's not a staycation or a vacation, but the mission trip has been a great way for us to connect and be able to serve others, and it's been a fun way for me to get away from work and kind of see how I can make a difference in other people's lives.
And I mentioned earlier to the kids, I know along the way, that you make some lasting friends. You meet some very interesting people sometime, and you know, some funny people. Maybe a drunk or two along the way, but you know. But Ms. Paula, so what's next for the group? Do you do something every summer, or how does this work?
One of the things we try to do is to have service projects. Our goal is to have a service project once a quarter. And so next for this group is a program that's called Project Transformation. And what the young people will do will be going to read with children the week of the 4th of July. So from 9 to 12 is the actual program of reading. Statistics have shown that children that don't read over the summer lose their reading levels up to 2 grade levels. And so by having this program, and which we're very proud of because our former youth director helped to start this program.
Wonderful.
And so they do that, and then in the afternoon is a time to just play and engage with the kids. So that's our next group assignment for the youth.
One of my passions, I read a book a week. You know, I mean, my car has so many books. It's just, I can't ride any visitors. I can't give anybody rides, but that's one of my passions.
Amen.
Now, I understand that a wonderful church from this area welcomed you
That's right.
and assisted you with living quarters. Tell me about that and who that is.
Well, we're staying at a church called Covenant United Methodist Church, and they were gracious enough to give us a lot of space for us to live for this week. They've given us a hall which is essentially dedicated to our living area. So all the guys, we took one room, and it's filled with air mattresses, and so is with the girls. The guys is a little bit dirtier ever since we got there. But I think one of the special things is that in addition to giving us a fantastic youth area that they live, they're allowing us to spend our time in there, all of our downtime. On Monday, the youth group of the church actually came and they served us pizza.
Wonderful.
And it was fantastic. And we got to speak with them, and we did a lot of games with them, such as street hockey. We had a lot of ice-breaking games. And it was just fantastic to get to see like the kind heart that they have in letting us use their facilities to shower, to eat, and to sleep. And so it's really, really gracious of them.
Louisiana has some welcoming people.
Absolutely.
They really,
Absolutely.
really do. And I am so proud to say that this is my state. But again, we want to thank you. Pray, love, serve. Tell me.
Yes, that was the theme that came up. And one of the things with Winsboro, which many of them couldn't make it, the job site ran over a little bit, traffic and just coordinating everything. We had hoped that they could be here with us.
Yeah, because
but
there's
they-
a bunch of girls
Yes,
associated with this
there
group
are
too.
There
about,
are females.
yes,
And they are
20
working right now.
A total of 28, I think, about 28 with those. So some are assigned for helping with just preparing the meals and doing the shopping. And then with the other youth, we have girls on their team. With our group, we're predominantly boys
Okay.
right now. But So this idea of pray, love, and serve, again, is something that we want to instill not only for our youth, but for us as adults. And so it's one thing to say, I'm going to pray and serve God, and it just be something we talk about. But what
give me
we're
the kind of
interested-
love.
Absolutely. We're taught to love the Lord with our whole heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. We know that's our great commandment. So the serving piece is like putting feet to the love. Not just something we say with our mouth, but something we use our hands and our feet
Wonderful.
and our hearts.
That is so wonderful that lesson is being taught among these young people, and you can tell it is being taught. And we just want to salute you again. Again, our very special guests, they have come into the area to assist those who were affected by the August flood. We're still going through in some areas. Many people in the area are still going through. And we've had much assistance, that come through the area. And I understand that the group 8 Days of Hope, they brought in a lot of volunteers as well. And we met some of those volunteers. They've given away furniture. But when churches, when the mission of a church can step outside of its walls and serve people, that's a great thing. It is truly a great thing. So Reverend Paula and Tomas and the rest of you, Miss Charlene, she looks like one of the little girls herself. But all the way from Winsboro, Louisiana. I actually know where Winsboro, Louisiana is. I don't know too much about Brentwood, Tennessee, but I was in Memphis for a lengthy time in my life on radio. But I love pray, love, and serve. Now, I know you, this is what I wanted to ask. Where did the materials that you had to work with come from?
So,
Were they donated or were they, I don't know.
well, actually, the Winsboro team, they have fundraisers throughout the year. So we had the opportunity last year, the Winsboro youth group came to Tennessee and was looking for some work sites. They had some things arranged and it fell through, and we were able to help them and partner with them. And then they invited us after the storm to join them here in Louisiana. So they have fundraised for the whole year, and then donations from church members, and also in our case we have parents who really support youth ministry, and so the parents is what who really helped us, and other church members made donations as well to support this mission trip.
I was wondering, where the paint came from, where the hammers, the nails, the whatever.
Right. The Winsboro team, they actually have a couple of construction trucks, and so our project managers, per se, were there. So they have some of the supplies. But what we typically do, we'll come out beforehand and they'll look at sites. We find out, get recommendations, and then go out and visit the sites, and then make the offer to pay for the supplies ahead of time. So part of that fundraising, and then we say this is what we need, and we've been truly blessed, as I said, through the support of families and parents and other people within the congregation that have helped to support the ministry, and then we're able to purchase the supplies before we come. Some before we come, others once we get on site.
All right, anybody want to shout anybody out?
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan, who didn't make it here. He's one of my other sons, but
All right.
looks a lot like the other.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes,
But
and he looks a lot like Sean. They're twins.
okay, wonderful. The groups from the United Methodist Church, and we have some wonderful United Methodist churches here in our area as well. Want to give them a shout out, and I just want to encourage churches to get into the business of helping people. There are a lot of wonderful churches who do a lot of wonderful things. I won't call you by name, but I know who you are. And we just want to encourage churches, though, to get into the business of helping people. My church is Church Beyond Walls, and it has that name for a reason. It's because we get outside of the walls of the church to try to assist people. And so we talked about the reading program that's going to be happening around the 4th of July. Do you know what's next? Do you know what's on the mission statement?
What is the next? Well, actually, we sort of go by the school calendar year, so I'm
Okay.
not certain what is on the calendar for the following help. Let me think
Do
ahead.
you do
What else we
anything for
have?
Christmas? Do you?
Oh, yes. Oh, that's where you're trying to lead us.
Well,
Yes,
I don't
so
know.
we have a couple of things that we do. You want to talk about what we do for Christmas?
Absolutely.
As a youth
I
group?
know a lot of the things that we do during the winter time is our church, we get together and we make blankets. We provide blankets for people that we feel as though need them. And so there's a big day at the church where we just make a lot of them.
What kind of blankets? Quilt?
The
Blanket-
fleece.
Oh,
The fleece
okay.
blankets, so they
Absolutely.
tie them together and.
And I know other things we've done. We've done a lot of things with a lot of homeless shelters where we come and we've provided Christmas meals for them in the years before.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. We've done work with a room at the inn. And during the winter especially, simply because it's extremely cold outside and a lot of the people who don't have homes of their own are seeking other homes. And so I suppose we take it upon ourselves to sort of help feed them and help work with them. I know one time the youth group and I, during the Christmas season, we went to, a church was hosting them. And so we went and we set up dinner for them, as well as set up their beds, sheets, padded with blankets, and a lot of fantastic things like that that we do. So, yeah.
That is so good.
So Room in the Inn is a program in the Nashville area that was actually started by a Catholic priest
Really?
who they had a feeding program, and he recognized that during those winter months that many of the people who were homeless were just sleeping outside, and he said that he couldn't tolerate it, and so he opened the doors of the church and invited them to come in. And so now there are over 160 churches and synagogues, temples in the Nashville area that will allow people to come and sleep at their church during the winter months when it's really cold. So the name of the program is Room in the Inn, and so we've participated with that. Churches typically partner together. If you're a smaller church and can't host, or you can provide a meal or some items for them to take with them. And along with that, our church has also provided blankets. We get the military grade blankets and usually provide at least 100 of those each year.
Being of service.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. So, I once again, I can't thank you enough. I am just so grateful, and my heart is full for what you've done, not just for me, but for the people of this area. Thank you again so much for doing that. But we are just going to encourage you to just keep these days and these memories in your hearts. And as young people, I know this will carry you a long way. And we want to invite you, of course, back to the state of Louisiana anytime you want to come. I don't want to say that another tragedy like this is going to happen. We are hoping not. We are in the middle of hurricane season right now, and we know to brace for it here in Louisiana. But we just want to see you anyhow, anyway, you know. We are always accessible. If you need us, call us, and we'll be there for you as well. Invite us, and we'll come.
Thank you.
We'll come.
And they've had the opportunity to sample some of the wonderful Louisiana cuisine.
I know the food is good. It's kind of spicy sometimes. I understand you went to Avery Island.
Yes.
Did you get some hot sauce?
I did not. I tried to stay away from it. Spicy is not necessarily
Okay.
my thing.
Well, good. But that's always a fun time. And Paula, I know that you were here
Yes, well, actually, I am a native of Rayne.
Rayne, Louisiana.
I'm a graduate of University of Louisiana and also LSU Medical Center.
Okay.
So I'm a homegirl.
All right. Well, come on home.
Homegrown. Yes.
All right, that's going to wrap our show up for today. And once again, we thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And keep on doing what you're doing. I'm Portia Evans. We'll be back again next week with another topic and something else. In the meantime, you be blessed and bye-bye.